We're here to bring real solutions to real problems affecting real people today. With your support, you can join us in becoming part of the solution and a part of this movement.
Hello, everybody. Today is Community Day in Mount Upton, New York. It used to be Community Days, but you know, the economy. But they have a car show down there, and there'll be yard sales. And it's on the other side of Mount Upton. So we're prepping a barbecue here. I've got my grill filled up with wood, thanks to my buddy Nate, who helped me out with that. And I've got Accelerate. Everybody should be able to learn to build a fire if they think they're able and want to. Growing up, I had to learn for a couple of reasons. In the summer, we often cooked outside over a fire pit. And in the winter, you know, we stayed warm with firewood. And so us kids had to learn how to deal with fire safely. I like to say that the best way to cook is over a poorly contained wood fire. As you can see, this is a very old and rusty grill, right? We're going to drag the hose out when we get back. But before we go, we're going to soak it down with a little fuel, because you want that to soak in, really help that wood catch. Right? This is just charcoal starter. It works for wood too. This is hardwood. We used essentially what we used for firewood. We just cut it up smaller. That's all Nate. Nate's a big help. But after this bit, I'm going to switch to time-lapse videography so that it, we don't put all my neighbors and people at the Community Day event on the spot with the camera, but it'll still allow you to see that I'm getting out and about and being active in my community with the Endurance Powerchair. You won't see me in the time lapse, it's going to face forward, but, you know, it's going to be a good time. We're going to go see some fancy cars, and we're going to come back and we're going to barbecue. Here's to it. As you can see behind me, the wood in the grill is burning down quite fast. But I wanted to talk to you about a nice lady that I talked to down at Community Day with the car show. You'll have seen her hopefully in the time lapse. She was on a motor scooter, not a wheelchair, but one of those little scooters. It was getting her around okay, but it looked rough in spots for her, and she's older, right? But the interesting thing is, her name is Cece, and she used to work for the Office of Aging here in Shenango County. And we were talking about the Medicare in-home rule and how it stops people from, including the elderly, getting equipment that really gets them outside of their homes and to their daily lives. When it's possible, it should be done. If you can do better, you should do better. And she was in full agreement with that. I invited her to come see the screening of our documentary happening in Oneonta, November 7th at the Foothills Performing Arts Center. But then she started talking about her sister. Her sister had a motor scooter, and something happened to where it tipped and she fell and was injured. And instead of giving her better equipment for that, they gave her worse equipment for that. The solution to equipment that's faulty outside your home is to keep you trapped inside your home, apparently. How disgusting is that? I don't like it, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And why you might want to consider going to themif.org, themif.org, and, you know, make a donation if you should support our cause, right? Sign up for the newsletter. There are a lot of ways to help. You might have skills you could offer us. All of that is valuable. We run on mostly that. But $5 a month goes a long way, folks. And you know, maybe someday people like Cece's sister won't have to be trapped in their home over something as stupid and arduous as that situation. You know, maybe they can come out and barbecue instead. Go see the car show, right? And Cece is an example of those who work within the system understanding that they are not allowed to do better. They want to do better, but they are not personally allowed to do better. They are beholden to the rules of the system, and systems do not care. They aren't capable of caring. People are, but systems are not. So when you need something that involves care, like appropriate equipment or assistance with your daily life, or just attending a barbecue, we need to look to those who care about us, and not the systems who are deliberately designed specifically to not care, right? And you actually can't design a system to care, at least not about everyone in every situation, because there are too many of us, and our situations have such a great variance. But no, Cece was a good talk. She's going to come see the documentary, and I imagine she will bring people. That's awesome. Saw a few other people I knew down there talking about what I'm doing and why. And of course I invited them to come see our documentary in the panel afterwards. Devin Hamilton, our mechanical engineer, Matt Lacey, our Chief of Research and Development, or Director of Research and Development, I suppose is more appropriate, myself, Donna Queter, my mother, who's on the board, and a local advocate, Don Wyckoff. We will all be on the panel at the Foothills Performing Arts Center in Oneonta, November 7th, after we show the documentary. But right now I'm going to make sure we get the hose over here in case something goes wrong with the fire. Safety first. And then we're going to go prep the rest of the food. I think earlier I said I was in a blue shirt. You'd see me in a green shirt. I got that backwards. I was wearing the green shirt, and this is a blue shirt now. I was drenched in sweat. All right, I just showed you, hopefully, if my technology with the camera was working properly and I knew how to work it properly. We just showed you Community Day in Mount Upton. A lot of vendors, some bigger sales, a lot of fun, some food, a car show. And I'm hot and I'm sweaty, so I'm going to go in and change my clothes. The next time you see me, I'll probably be wearing a green shirt just like this. But, you know, there are some parts there that I'm going to cut back in with video like this and talk about who I talked to and what that conversation was about. All right, folks. Next time you see me, we'll be lighting this grill behind me. That rusty old thing full of wood. All right, everybody, it's time to start the fire. That's what we're gonna do. I do believe that if you are at all capable of even approaching to learn how to handle a fire, you probably should and should be able to. My equipment allows me to do this, and of course, I have help from Nate. Nate got this firewood ready before we went down to the car show and Community Day with all the yard sales and vendors and food and such. We doused this in some accelerant, charcoal starter, to soak in. It's soaked in. We're going to put a little more on just so that flame travels down through. And it's just a touch of a lighter. Moving that around. That'll catch down through. Once it's burnt down to coals, it's done with flames, and the accelerant is burnt off. The heat will be perfect for cooking our steaks. See, that's the fun of accelerant. You get a little flame action going on. But I'm going to go inside. I'm going to change my clothes. I'm going to get the food prepped. And we'll be back out here when it's time to put the food on. All right, folks, it's time to put the food on the grill. I have a couple of flank steaks that I bought days ago. I whacked them with a meat mallet, and then I hit them with a marinade. And they've been in the fridge for a few days marinating. We're going to slap these right on the grill as is, and if there's room, we're going to put the squash on. If not, we're going to steam the squash. So, first things first, get that steak out. Hear that sizzle? I don't think we're going to have room for the squash. Nate's going to help me put the top on here in a minute. Yeah, right about now. These are flat iron steaks. Yep. Right on. Alright. We'll probably give them about 30 minutes, and then I guess I'm going to go in and figure out how to cook the squash. I wanted to grill it, but there's not enough room on the grill. Couldn't do them on the gas grill. But I think what I'll do is I'll put them in a covered dish and steam them in the microwave. It's nice and quick and easy. Alright. Welcome back, everybody. It is time to flip the meat. Nate, you want to pull that top? Yep. Oh yeah. Ready? We're gonna flip that over. Oh yeah. Yeah. A little bit of char, but not too bad. It's not grilling if you don't get a little black on it. Yeah. That one's still pretty red. This one's going to be well done. This is going to be medium. Close her back up. Yep. And we'll give it another 10 minutes. And then we'll be back to pull the meat off and serve with the squash. So, hey, barbecue. Everybody deserves equipment if they need it that gets them outside to have a barbecue with their good friend, right? Gotta grab the pan. Welcome back, folks. It's time to remove the meat. Right, there's still a little blood seeping out. That's the way I like it. Oh, that's got nice color. There's one. This one's going to be the rarest, and that's what I like. Red meat, when it's rare, is more bioavailable. It gives you more energy and nutrition. Now we're going to let this fire just die out where it is, and then that ash, because it's just wood, is good for the compost. It helps break that compost down. It adds potash and other vital nutrients. But I'll see you in a few minutes, folks, when we're carving. A little on the pricey side, but I don't buy beef very often. Often the family is pitching in to buy something on the hoof from a local farm. Sometimes my uncle. Get a better quality meat. You know the animal is treated well. Animals that are treated better taste better. That's what my father taught me on the farm. Always treat your animals well, because what they are is going inside. If you treat them badly, you put bad energy inside you. Now today we know it's actually kind of true. Animals that are stressed release stress hormones, and those stress hormones get absorbed directly into our body, in the stomach, cause us the effects of stress, which is unhealthy. It's always better to eat local, folks. This looks like it's taken something to really carve it, but it's not. I whacked it with the meat mallet, the spiky side, and it is a striated muscle that goes this way, so if I cut these too thick, it would be kind of tough. But because I'm cutting against the grain, you see that, it's going to be nice and tender. There's a lot of things to tenderize this really nice piece of meat. And the marinade is the juices left from roasting a butterfly leg of lamb over a bed of mixed mushrooms. I think there were probably 6 different kinds of mushrooms in there. And, you know, I like mushrooms. That lamb was treated with almond oil, or not almond oil, roasted walnut oil, and garlic, fresh herbs, and homemade pine syrup. Pine syrup is an interesting thing. Any kind of sugar you have, whether that's white sugar, organic crystallized sugar, maple syrup, honey, you get fresh green pine cones, you cut them in half, and you pack a jar, and you put the sugar, in this case honey, over top. I also did a maple syrup version, which I haven't really tried yet. And the process of letting it sit for about a month draws out the vitamin C and other good things in the pine cone. You can also use spruce tips, which are fresh, young pine needles that form at the tips of the branches of particularly spruce every year. But it changes the flavor, it lowers the carbohydrate profile. I had type 2 diabetes at one time. I kicked it by getting rid of carbs. And of course, fermented foods are good for your gut. But let's see how good this beef is, huh? Wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. got hints of all of the herbs, the roasted walnut, the mushrooms, even the lamb, the garlic, and just a little hint of that pine honey. It's amazing. Really good. Cooking for yourself is very rewarding. Cooking for others is even more rewarding. And coming out with something that you really like and that you put your effort into and that you appreciate the accomplishment of is a very important part of my culture. And I think life in general, I feel like more people should do this. And if you're dependent on mobility equipment, then your mobility equipment should facilitate this. All right, folks, we're going to eat. We've got squash in the microwave.